product selection is important because a lot of people select products where there's not enough in there to advertise. But once you use up one angle of advertising, there's nothing else left and you have to keep beating that angle again and again and again. But with Facebook's new update, angles are everything. Your creative approach is everything. Get into business with a product that has unlimited advertising potential, which this does, right? It will help with energy, gut, immunity, metabolism, skin and hair. We came across this business that's doing over $600,000 every single month. And the product that they're selling is really in demand right now. We find businesses just like this and we recreate them so that you can essentially launch the same business under your brand name. The funnel is ready. The plan is ready. The supplier is ready. The only thing that needs to be ready is you. Hey guys, what's going on? Welcome back to another video. So in today's video, I want to talk about this exceptional business opportunity that I've stumbled on. We do product research every single day here on this channel, and sometimes we do a live. And this is a business that I found live in one of my older videos. So be sure to subscribe and watch some of the product research that we do. And we came across this business that's doing over $600,000 every single month. And the product that they're selling is really in demand right now. It is something that is a problem-solving product. It is something that has a lot of research and studies back behind it. And it's something that's a superfood, which means it doesn't just solve one issue, it solves a ton of different issues. And once you basically are able to set up the system where you're able to acquire customers for this business, it helps you earn money every single month on autopilot. If you're somebody who's interested in starting an e-commerce business and you want to start one that truly helps people, you want to start one where you are proud of the brand that you own, I encourage you to watch this video till the end because I'm going to show you an incredible business opportunity that has the potential to earn, as you guys can see, over $600,000 every single month. All right, so what is the product? The product is called Sea Moss Gel. Essentially, what this thing is something that you basically eat, right? You can mix into smoothies, you can mix into your yogurts and X, Y, and Z and essentially consume sea moss. It's filled with minerals, vitamins, prebiotics, antioxidants, beneficial compounds, and it tastes really good. There are lots of nice different flavors. It's zero fat, gluten-free, all that good stuff, and basically 2 spoons a day, and you get incredible results. Okay, what are some of the results, right? You basically get cellular fuel, you get good digestion, you get everyday support, calm focus, and glow from within. This is something that a lot of women are sort of going to. I've seen a lot of companies in this space make a ton of money. Okay, so this is the business at the end of it. Now, they are running a ton of great ads to be able to support and fuel this growth. About 820 different ads, and all of them are coming from either their channel or they're basically collaborating with influencers who are pushing this particular product. Okay, ads like this are awesome, where they say I wanted to take a picture for review but accidentally ate the whole jar, right? Signifying that it's too good to not keep. And then they have really big influencers in the space saying why this is something that you should start using and eating instead of your other junk food. So there's a lot of good advertising behind it. Okay, now the thing that I want to talk about is product selection is important because a lot of people select products where there's not enough in there to advertise. But once you use up one angle of advertising, there's nothing else left and you have to keep beating that angle again and again and again. But with Facebook's new update, angles are everything. Your creative approach is everything. The way that you basically explain and communicate your product is everything. And if you don't have a product that gives you that flexibility and that versatility, you're going to enjoy, maybe even if it's a winning product, you're going to enjoy it for some time and then it's going to eventually die down. So do yourself a favor, get into business with a product that has unlimited advertising potential, which this does, right? It will help with energy, gut, immunity, metabolism, skin and hair. And each one of these problems is a multi-million-dollar problem. Okay, so 1 month you're pushing the energy, 1 month you're pushing gut health. Let's say it's flu season, right? When the weather shifts, it's flu season, you basically start pushing immunity support, right? Let's say you've figured out an audience of women, right, who want to lose weight. You can push it to the metabolism. Figure out products that give you like an octopus, like different arms, right? 8 arms. And then what happens is it gives you a lot of marketing leverage. You can pull on different levers and you can ride different waves, okay? If there is a wave of, let's say, mangoes are in season, in this you have a mango flavor, right? You can ride that wave and you don't get bored of selling your product and your customers don't get bored of hearing about your product. Okay, so that's very important, and I really like that this product has that. And as you guys can see, look at the number of ads they're able to run with all these different people. Okay, now even setting up this is very good, because what happens is when you have a good product like this, when you have a product that's branded, don't worry, towards the end of this video, I'm going to talk about everything. I'm going to talk about how we're going to source this product, what the landed costs are, and what's most important is how we make $10,000 in profit per month with this particular product. We've done all the math for you, okay? So what is amazing about a product that actually works is that working with influencers becomes easier. Okay, when you have something like this that would actually benefit someone, like influencers will not turn you down. Okay, influencers will collaborate with you in exchange for the product itself, or influencers will collaborate with you for a reduced fee because they actually enjoy the product. They actually understand what Sea Moss is. They actually want to use it. They actually want to recommend it. They want to be seen as someone who is pushing a good lifestyle. So when you have something like this, recommending, getting influencers to push and promote your products becomes very easy. And that's why you can see so many different influencers are working with this brand and have no issues doing so. Okay. Now, this is a health product. So essentially, working with influencers is not going to be difficult, and giving them guidelines on what to shoot is not going to be difficult as well. Right? Look at this. So I've been another wellness ad, let me guess, over 90 minerals. So again, an influencer is just basically shooting this and taking shots at other influencers. I was skeptical about it too until I read what's actually on the label. Come on, I mean, this is not going to be difficult for any influencer to shoot, right? You just give them an angle and they're going to go for it. But what I like about this whole thing is the fact that they're just saying, just take 2 spoonfuls, okay? Just 2 spoonfuls and feel incredibly better. Now, I've seen another business in this space make over $1 million every single month. Okay, they were selling Sea Moss as a capsule, and they were selling it to African American people. They really focused in on their niche. Okay, and it's just there's a lot of trends associated with this word, right? So if you get into a niche that's trending upwards, it becomes easier to sell that product. And if you're worried about starting in this space and not having these influencers, well, your product lends itself to AI-based image advertising like this, where you can show what it would look like if you weren't, how deprived you were, and then what happens week after week when you go ahead and feel better. Now, I have AI employees or AI agents that if I give them this ad and if I just tell them to recreate it, they will recreate it for me. There's a ton of videos on the channel about how to recreate image ads and make them your own. And I think this will lend itself really well to image ads as well. Look at this to-do list. Okay, stay healthy, boost immunity, and avoid catching every cold. To buy list, the true Sea Moss Superfood gel. Okay, look at this. Goodbye acne. Again, I love the versatility of this product. If, once you get the system up and running, and that's the next thing we're going to talk about is what the system is to make money with this particular niche. Once you get the system up and running, all you have to do is come up and think about, okay, what am I going to say about this product today that I haven't said before to get customers that haven't gotten before, right? How do I get customers to my main page, which is this? They've created a very simple page, talks about the benefits, talks about how to take a healthier step forward, talks about what a spoonful can do, and an FAQ, because it's more so focused on the advertising. This is a front-loaded funnel where they don't have a ton going on the product page, but the whole name of the game for this product is advertising, because the product is easy to understand. People that are buying this product typically know a little bit about what Sea Moss is. Maybe have taken Sea Moss in another form, but if you give it to them in flavoring, it's going to do really, really well. Okay, now what is it going to look like for a beginner to go ahead and get into this business? Okay, now what we've done for you is we figured out who the supplier of the product is, how much they charge, and every single thing related to actually acquiring this particular product. Okay, so as you guys can see, we found a supplier for this particular product that is the 8th most popular in herbal supplements. Okay, 4,000 of this particular product has been sold. Okay, and this particular product, the Sea Moss gel, okay, it only costs $2 to make. Okay, but when we go ahead and sell it, we can sell it for anywhere from $40. Okay, one jar, when you sell it for 2 and you sell it for 40, okay, that's going to be absolutely insane. But if you go ahead and subscribe and save, it's 24. Now, why are they doing this? Why are they giving it so cheap for subscribe and save? And for the first one, it's 40. Well, the reason they're giving it for so cheap is because they don't mind losing money on the subscribe and save. Okay, having been in the subscription game for a while, it's very important to understand, okay, that the subscribe and save option, you got to make it this attractive. Okay, you got to make it this attractive because you would just be absolutely stupid, okay, to go for the $40 jar. You would be absolutely stupid when you can get it for 24. Okay, and you will just cancel later. And I'm sure they have a bunch of people that get the one and then they cancel. Okay, then they cancel. All right, but a big percentage will never. And that percentage of people that don't cancel, that continue to buy on autopilot every single month, okay, will go ahead and pay for everything else. Will pay for everything else, okay? Because each subscriber stays on for 3 to 4 months, okay? So it's not a $24 customer, okay? Every subscriber is like $120 customer because they stay on for so long, okay? And the company gets 120, but they only pay around $2 to $8 for that customer to fulfill that order. And so this is why they build that subscription. Their monthly recurring revenue must be, if just their sales are 600,000, their monthly recurring revenue, the money that they make month over month might be 100 to 200K. Okay, and that's money you don't have to pay for. This is the best analogy that I've heard about a subscription-based business, is the fact that you can essentially have the benefits of a full-time salary job with the flexibility of a business if you put subscription into your business. Okay, if subscription is the center of your business, what ends up happening is that even if you do not run a single ad, you're going to get 100,000 every single month, right? 100,000 is coming in regardless every single month. That pays for your team, that pays for your house, that pays for your rent, that pays for your lifestyle, XYZ. And anything on top is just gravy. Any new customers on top is just gravy, right? And what they're doing, which is so smart, is giving 40% off. And they may even be inflating their regular prices just a little bit, but 40% off. So if you get a subscription, not only do you get 40% off, you also get a jar of gummies. They're making the subscription so enticing that you'd be stupid not to get it. All right, so now let's go ahead and look at some of the research that we've done for this particular business. I'm going to walk you through some scenarios, okay? Let's say you're actually going ahead and running this store, okay? What does that look like? How do you basically start from a place as a beginner, right? If you think, man, this is cool, this is something that I want to do, this is something that I want to be involved in, I can see myself running this business in the future. You don't need some crazy money to be able to run this business. Okay, I'll show you as a beginner how to go ahead and get this product, sell this product, and the basic numbers that you're going to need to understand to end up making $10,000 in profit with this business, because that's the goal, right? 10K per month coming in every single month from one business in profit. I mean, that's, everybody who's doing e-commerce, that's a really good goal to have, right? So let's go ahead and see what that looks like, okay? First thing is the supplier, right? So we've gone ahead, we found the supplier, right? $2 to $3, depending on the flavor that you choose, okay? And so it depends, right? So let's just assume some cost, right? So let's assume, you could do it with whatever, right? But let's say you want to save some money and you go $2.8 and you do about 500 boxes, right, of this particular product, okay? And so there's 2.8, and you could do it. You could do less. You could just order 100 to start off with. It's completely up to you. I'm just going to assume not the cheapest and not the most expensive. Okay, I'm going to assume a midpoint. Okay, so let's say one jar, right, costs you $2.80. Okay. Now you obviously want a custom branded add your packaging. That's 80 cents. You want to bulk ship it to a warehouse, self-fulfill it for you. That's 1.5 per jar. And you want somebody handling the fulfillment. You really don't want to be doing this. That's 2.8, 2.5 per jar. And then there's going to be transaction fees like Stripe, operations, XYZ, freight forwarding, all that stuff. Let's assume that to be 1.02. Okay, so your total cost per jar is $8. Okay, now let's look at some options. All right, so there's, when you're doing subscribe and save, because they're selling it in two ways, right? They're selling it subscribe and save, and they're selling it as standalone products, right? So on the subscribe and save, your gross margin is 63%, right? On the one-time purchase, your gross margin is 78%, right? You're going to make more on the one-time purchase, obviously, because it's a higher price. But on the subscription, you're going to make less, but you're going to make it more frequently. So these are two different scenarios, okay? Now, you have key insights on both price tiers. The 3-jar subscribe gives the biggest LTV for you, which is the highest long-term lifetime customer value, right? Your costs are stable because you're doing pre-made flavors, and in the future phases you can do freemium, right? So you can give it away for free, or a low-cost jar you could do free plus shipping. We'll talk about that in another video. Okay, so now let's look at this. Okay, now there are a bunch of different prices. Okay, because you're selling multiple different jars at multiple different prices. So if you want to make an estimation of how much money you're going to make in this business, you're going to have to use a blended average selling price. So some people are going to come in and just buy one jar at 40. Some people are going to buy 3 jars at 48 and subscribe. Some people are going to come buy 2 jars standalone at a subscription at 40. So people are going to come in at different price tiers at different price points. Okay, but you have to basically blend together what an average looks like, and it can't be a very high average. It can't be like $80, right? Because in the middle of all of this, it's 80, right? But you can't assume that when you're running costs. So let's assume a good blended average of 42. I can definitely see that being the average order value, right, of a supplement or for consumable. 42 is a very easy average order value. Okay, so majority of the customers will start with 1 to 2 jars, some on subscriptions, and a natural bundle volume discount. Okay, so now let's look at everything through the lens of every customer coming in spending $42 with you. Okay, so again, your product cost is 2.8. Your total cost with everything else is about $8 a jar. Somebody coming in will spend $42 on that same jar, right? So your gross profit before ads. Now this is very important. Your gross profit before ads is $33. So your margin is about 80%, which is good. Okay. Now let's include Facebook ads because that's a big cost to sell. Okay. If your average cost per purchase is $15, you're walking away with a 45% margin. If your average cost per purchase is $18, so it costs you $18 to sell this $42 jar, you're going to be left with $37. It could even be higher. Okay. But the model will remain highly profitable if you're spending $15 to acquire a customer. Okay. I should have done more analysis in depth of what it looks like at higher CPPs as well. Maybe I'll include that in the final report. Okay, cool. Now, what does the break even look at different? So let's say you have 5K in ad spend. Okay. How many orders do you need to break even? Okay. Well, at 15, if you're spending $15 to acquire a customer, you need 200 orders. If it's at $18, you need 236 orders to just break even. Okay. And so these are numbers that are important, right, for you to understand, because when you're running ads, you need to see, okay, I'm getting a customer at $15. So at about 200 orders, I'm going to be broken even because it's going to basically mean that I've made X amount. Okay. You stay profitable at $15 cost per purchase at scale. Okay. And you can lower those costs with retargeting, UGC, or upsells. Okay. Now let's assume this scenario. Let's assume on average, you're spending $250 on ads. Okay. Let's not assume this $5,000 ad budget because it's a lot, right? Let's break it down, right? So let's say you're spending $250 on ads. If you can get somebody to buy this for you for $13, like you're in the best case situation, but that's not typical of a new business owner. Okay. So now let's look at the strategy of how we're going to reach $10,000 per month in profit with a $42 average cart value, which is possible, right? But we're going to look at all of the different cost per purchases. Okay. Now, thing is, guys, once you get the product from the fulfillment center to the third party logistics provider, which is your shipping person, whoever, packs and ships for you, those costs, that is all fixed. The only variable cost in this business is ads. Okay. So now what we're going to do is look at what you're going to need to do to make $10,000 a month across all of the different price points. So let's assume a $42 average order value, which is completely possible with a product like this. But let's look at all the different cost per purchases. Okay. Like I said, this close to under 15 is really strong. You have to be a very strong marketer. You're probably going to be at this price point to sell something for 42 with good ads. You're going to be here. Okay. But if you're a beginner, you're going to be here. Okay. I'm just going to be honest with you. To sell this for 42, you're going to be here. Okay. And what does that look like for you? Okay. So let's take this. Okay. Let's say you're not really bad. And let's say you're not really good. You're average. You're an average newbie. You're going to be here. Okay. So you're going to need to spend about $500 a day in ad spend, which is fine because you're making 10 grand a month in profit. And you're going to need to generate about $30,000 in revenue. And then you get to keep 10K of it in profit, which I think is a very, very possible scenario. Also, you're going to need to generate about 700 orders a day, right? Which if we pull out our calculator, right? 700 orders a day, divide by 30, right? You're looking at getting about 23 orders a day, which is completely possible. Okay. And that's what I think your best case scenario is. Okay. So if you're doing this, if you're getting into this business, and if you want to hit that 10K per month goal, these are the numbers that you're planning on hitting. Okay. Like this, a $10 CPP or cost per purchase, you're a profit machine. You're in the unicorn zone. You're going to the Lambo, the big house, everything is possible. But it's not, this is basically, you're probably going to be here, right? You're probably going to be at the sweet spot, okay? Now, what do you focus on? You're going to focus on subscriptions. You're going to focus on creative testing and back-end offers. Now, one more thing I want to focus on is, let's say your goal is to make 10K per month just off these subscriptions alone. What does that look like? How soon can you get to 10K per month? So let's assume the average subscription is about 40, right? Some people are spending 24, some people are spending 40, some people are spending 48. Let's use a blended average of 40, which I don't think is correct. Actually, let me rework this because this blended average doesn't seem good. So let me go ahead and rework this. All right, guys. So I've gone ahead and assumed I've changed the cost to acquire customers 50, which is way too high. I've assumed I've gone here and I've taken somewhere between here. Okay, so let's assume you're in this zone. You're not even at the average. I'm assuming worst case you're between your cost to acquire customers between 25 and 28. Okay, now what happens? Okay, how do you reach 10K per month just with subscribers? Okay, this is what that looks like. Okay. Month one, you get 100 new subs and all of them are active, and your monthly profit is about $2,000 because your profit per subscriber is $19. Remember, a person comes in, buys one jar, they stick with you for 3 months. So they're actually a customer that's worth $72, and you're paying them about $27 to get them. So at each of those customers is worth at least $19 for you. Okay, this is very, very, very realistic. Okay, now if each person is worth $19, right, at 100 subs, you're making $1,900 in profit. Okay, now in month two, okay, you're basically going to go ahead and get 157 new subscribers. You start growing your subscribers because you start spending more on ads, because you start reinvesting your profits in ads. Remember, you made 1,900 in profit. You're reinvesting 80% back to get and grow more of your subscriber base. Because if you keep reinvesting your money back, at month 10, you're going to be at $10,000, $11,000 in pure profit. After this, if you want to stop reinvesting, that's fine. Okay. And cumulatively, you're probably going to get about 50K per month, 50K in total profit over 9 months. Okay. But if you keep this going, okay, if you get, 57 more subs the next month, if you keep growing your new subscriber base and your active subscriber base, by month 9, you should be at 10K per month in profit just on subscriber base. What this tells you is the power of sticking with it. If you can stick with something, and if you can understand your business's numbers on this level where you understand, okay, I need to make 10K per month off the entire business, okay? And that happens at the $22 per level very easily, okay? And I need to make 10K off everything. I need to make 10K per month off this entire business, and that happens when you hit this level, okay? Which I see happening very, very, like, this is not a tough thing to achieve. Okay. And another thing is I want to not just make 10K off the entire business. I want to make 10K just off my subscription alone. That happens when you start stacking subscribers and reinvesting profits to more ad spend, to more subscribers. These scenarios will change when your numbers change. But when you have a strong plan of how to grow your business, growing the business becomes easier. Okay. So I hope you guys enjoyed this detailed breakdown of what this entire thing looks like. My editor is going to have a really tough time because every time I was going through this report, I understood, man, no, this doesn't make sense. This doesn't make sense. This isn't beginner friendly. And I reworked the numbers to make sure that they're beginner friendly. So I want to apologize to my editor here. Now that you basically know the numbers behind it, now that you know that you can source this product, now that you know how much you need to be able to get this off the ground and you see the big payoff, let me and my team help you build this business, okay? What we do here with White Label Dropshipping is we find businesses just like this and we recreate them so that you can essentially launch the same business, okay, under your brand name. Okay, we recreate the business, we help you find the supplier, we help you source the product, and we help you work through the numbers so that you can set your sight on a goal and help achieve it together. We actually have the white label version of this product page already ready and available for you. All you have to do is put your product images over here and you're good to go. Okay, put your brand name, put your product images over here, and you sell the same way that these guys are selling. Okay, and that's the entire premise of white label dropshipping. What we do is we find 6 and 7 figure businesses. We create white label ready to launch versions that are downloadable into Shopify or shopfunnels so that you don't have to worry about creating the store. The store is already created for you. What you do is work with me and my team on strategy, ad strategy, execution strategy, and like I said, growth strategy. We already understand the numbers that it's going to take to get you to these levels. And we basically chart a course with you step by step on how we basically achieve these numbers. And if you think this business is cool, if you want to do this with me and my team, click the link down below and book a call, right? The funnel is ready. The plan is ready. The supplier is ready. The only thing that needs to be ready is you. And if you want to work with me and my team to build this business out and achieve these goals that we've put out step by step on the entire business level, on the subscription level, you need a guided hand through this entire journey, this entire process. As you guys can see, I'm a nerd when it comes to this, and my team, we're a bunch of econ nerds that do this all day, every day. All right. So if you want to work with us, if you want to launch this business and brand this product as your own and launch it in the same way, you know this is tried and tested. You know that they're running 800 ads. You know that you could do a good job with this business if you were guided by somebody who has an innate understanding of how e-commerce works. Book a call with my team down below. Let's get into it. Let's see how we can help you launch this business as you are. All right, guys. Thank you guys so much for watching. I have not been excited about a business like this in a while, as you guys can see. Again, you get the funnel done, the research done, the ads done, and the guided support and mentorship needed to go ahead and scale this business every step of the way. All right, click that first link down below. Hope you guys enjoyed this video. If you want more detailed breakdowns like this, tell me, what business do you want me to go into? Right, I love looking at e-commerce businesses every single day. Comment down below what business you want me to look at. I'll go ahead and look at it. I'll break it down for you. I'll tell you if it's possible, and I'll tell you realistic stuff. Okay, I won't sugarcoat anything for you. Okay, I'll tell you realistic stuff on what it takes to make this business work. All right, thank you guys so much. But when it does work, it's amazing. When it does work, and when you're getting that check on autopilot, I know that feeling. I experience that feeling, even with subscription, right? When you know that no matter what you do, you're getting $7,000, $10,000 every single month in your bank. It's an awesome feeling. All right, guys, thank you guys so much for watching this video. Appreciate each and every one of you. And as always, I'll catch you guys next one. Peace.